Welcome back. So one day I was shopping with my boyfriend and he asked me, how do they have seedless organic grapes? Since he's Russian, I thought it was a language problem. But after a second, I realized it's actually an oxymoron. How do you have seedless organic grapes if organic means as found in nature? Nature doesn't have seedless grapes. I think I need an expert to answer all these questions for me because it's too complicated. With me now from Living Maxwell is Max Goldberg. Hi, Max. Thanks again for coming back and talking to us about organic food.
Great to be here.
So you heard what I said. My boyfriend kept saying organic seedless grapes, and I kept thinking he didn't understand what organic meant. I didn't get it because we're so used to seeing things say organic seedless grapes when in fact seedless is not found in nature.
Well, when you're talking about organic is a standard that was put into place in the beginning in 2002. So there are very clear rules and regulations around organic.
And what are they?
So organic, you cannot use genetically modified organisms, no irradiation, no sewage sludge, and most importantly, virtually none of those synthetic chemicals or fertilizers are allowed in organic production. So organic uses the natural ecosystem to grow food and to fend off against pests.
Well, that gives rise to two questions. One is, seedless is not found in nature, so how is that natural or part of the ecosystem if you have to actually hybrid to get seedless products?
Well, hybridization is allowed in organic. That's not allowed. What genetically engineered food is not allowed in nature.
So the difference between genetically engineered and hybrid food is what?
Well, genetically engineered, they're using sophisticated laboratory techniques for food that cannot be found in nature. So they'll take DNA from one species, from a fish, and insert it into a tomato or something like that. This is something that cannot be produced in nature.
And the hybrid is taking of two things and basically taking the best of both of them and making...
Yes, if it can be, yes, exactly.
So when we were talking about labeling laws for genetically modified organisms, which is what GMO means, why is it that they are allowed to call something organic if, in fact, it's a hybrid? To me, that's really not found in nature. But can they sneak in? Because, you know, we talk about Codex. I remember when Codex passed. That meant that they were allowed to radiate our food. So any civilized country around the world that wanted to send food to the United States, they were radiating the food. What does radiation do to our food? Well,
radiation kills the energy of the food, but the other thing is, with organic food over thousands and millions of years, there's very few things that are not hybridized. So,
is that true?
Yes, because there's so many food just evolves over the years, and so what organic principally means is no genetically engineered food, so it can't be engineered in a laboratory, and virtually all of these very synthetic chemicals and pesticides can't be used in this organic production.
So why is it that organic food is so much more expensive than conventionally grown crops?
Because organic food is not subsidized by the government. When you actually go to Washington and learn about all the policies, it's the genetically modified foods and the farmers that are growing them that get all the subsidies. It's just not an equal playing field.
That really seems unfair, especially since most people I talk to actually want the organic food.
Exactly. Organic food is more popular than ever, growing at approximately 10% a year. It's the healthiest food we can be eating. It has, studies show, Washington State University did a study on strawberries. Organic strawberries have higher levels of antioxidants and greater concentration of ascorbic acid. University of Barcelona did a study on organic tomatoes, higher levels of antioxidants. But the organic industry does not have the clout in Washington to get the policies that we need to support it. It's the conventional agriculture that has all the money and that puts the lobbying dollars to work. So they get the more favorable policies, and then that's why that's why it's less expensive, the conventional food.
So if the organic companies are making more money, is it because it takes so much more to grow organic crops?
I'm not necessarily...
I mean, getting more money for their food.
It's more expensive because A, they're not getting the subsidies, and they're using all these more technically efficient ways to do it. Yet it's more harmful to the environment. It's not as good for the people as well.
But I heard that in order to have an organic crop, you have to let the land lie fallow for 7 years to get the chemicals out of the ground and whatnot. But don't you find that there's already chemicals in the water table, so all these plants are taking it up through the ground anyway. I mean, it's not a perfect environment anymore, but more or less organic food is the better way to go, even in an imperfect environment.
Exactly. The rule is 3 years. A farm has to be clean for 3 years. And so a lot of these chemicals do stay in the land for a long time. But this is the best system we have right now. And what you touched on about the water, I mean, is correct. So organic, we do as much as we can. It's not a perfect system, but it's the best what we have.
It's the best of what we got. Thank you so much, Max, for coming back and explaining organic to us.
My
really
pleasure.
appreciate it. Up next.